My biggest fears about living abroad, expat edition.
I like to be educated, but I'm so frustrated. Hello to my loneliness. I guess that
Hey
ignorance.
everybody, I'm back with a new video today. My biggest fears about living abroad. I'm here with 5 of my major concerns about living abroad and moving myself to the Philippines and living here full time, giving up my life in the States, maybe even giving up my passport, but I doubt I'll do that. Let's get started. So number 1, the reality of expat fears. Starting fresh in a new country. When you first get here, it's exciting, it's new, there's a lot going on. You're like the out of town person. Everybody wants to talk to you. It's a whole different world. But it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of new things, especially if you're planning on moving here. Finances, learning the geography, trying to find housing, food. I remember when I first came here, I couldn't find really any food that I wanted to eat, and I mean, now I'm more used to the Filipino food and I know what I like and what I don't like. When you first get here, it could be a real challenge. The food is completely different. I mean, I don't even eat McDonald's and stuff like that in the US, but a couple times here I did go to the McDonald's when I first got here just to get coffee in the morning or get a familiar food. I mean, it's really hard to find basic morning food here, like eggs, and eggs aren't hard to find, but if you go out to any local restaurants, there's not going to be eggs and toast for breakfast with coffee. All the coffee when you first get here, it's all this instant coffee that's, all jacked up with sugar and all kinds of stuff. Tastes good, but it doesn't really taste like coffee. Not coffee like you're used to in the US or Europe or somewhere that, is known for having good coffee. So another thing you really have to get used to is leaving behind your loved ones in the US. I don't have a wife or kids in the US, but I do have family there, a sister and a brother who are still alive, who have 3 kids between them. I have a niece and nephew who have 4 kids between them. You have to get used to the Philippines is so far away from the US. You just have to get used to not seeing the loved ones in your life for long extended periods of time. So that's one thing you're gonna have to learn to deal with if you want to live in a place as far away as the Philippines, even Thailand, Malaysia, Bali, where I just was, which I love Bali. And you might some of those family and friends you leave behind. I mean, it's not only family, it's friends. I have great friends in the US. Friends are not as important as family, but friends are an important part of your life, and you also have to leave them behind and make new friends here in the Philippines, which could be very hard, especially if you don't know anybody when you first get here. Luckily, the Filipino people are really friendly, so it's not that hard to make friends here. And then, of course, there's the uncertainty of the future. You don't know what the future will bring as far as politics, future in the US, and especially your future in the Philippines. When you come here, are you going to start a business? Are you going to get married? You're going to meet a girl, get married, you're going to have kids. I mean, that's one of the exciting things about moving to another country is the future is wide open. You start a new life. You could be whatever person you want. You could leave the person you were behind wherever you came from, and you could start all over again. But it's also one of the scary things, starting all over again. Another thing about the future is, your physical health. I'm in my 50s now. From what I watch with older guys' channels and research I've done, they say around if you hit 70, that's around the point where you can't do the stuff you used to do. That's not that far away from me anymore. So what if I do move to the Philippines and I'm here the next 13, 14 years and I turn 70 years old in the Philippines and I can't move around like I used to? Am I going to have somebody to take care of me? Not necessarily that I necessarily do in the US, but it's something to think about. What is your physical condition going to be in the future? You're in a different country. It's not the same as being in your native country where you just feel like, whether it's true or not, the feeling is there that you feel like you're going to be taken care of in your own country, whether it's true or not. I mean, in many cases in the US, the elderly aren't taken care of. That's kind of one of the deals I made with my Filipina girlfriend here. She's so much younger than me that I'll take care of her financially. She could take care of me when I get old. Yeah, that sounds transactional, but it also gives me a lot of comfort if I'm going to move here to the Philippines and, live out my golden years here. The next subject I want to tackle is cultural differences between somebody from the US or Europe or the West in general moving here and the Filipinos. The main language here is Tagalog, or they just call it Filipino. And there's dialects, Visayan, Ilocano is what's spoken mostly up here where I live in the north. Like when I see people, I meet new people, they ask me, do you speak Ilocano? That's the local dialect here. There's hundreds of different languages in the Philippines, which is one of the unique, charming things about it. But it also could be challenging if you go to, say, I learn Ilocano or Tagalog, which I know some Ilocano now, I can understand some of it. But I go to like Cebu, where Visayan is this main language, main dialect, then I don't understand anything. Luckily, English is the main language here, or like the universal language that brings everybody together. It's the one they learn in school. And this is one of my reasons for living in the Philippines and not, say, Thailand or Mali, or not Mali, excuse me, Malaysia or somewhere like that. And then there's adapting to local customs. If you're not used to the customs of the Philippines, it can be quite a shock. Filipinos have no volume control when it comes to like parties, and they basically don't have the respect for their neighbors that you do in the US. Like if they're having a party, they turn the music up all the way, even if they're not having a party. If they just get home from work and they want to listen to music, and they don't consider if their neighbors are going to be offended by the loud music or anything, or this loud, awful karaoke singing. A lot of times really good karaoke singing, but a lot of times really awful karaoke singing. Especially on the weekend, and then festival season. Christmas is celebrated here from September through December. So there's, parties every night and festivals every night, and they really enjoy their public get-togethers, which is an awesome part of the Philippines, but it's a cultural difference you have to get used to. Some of the other cultural differences are, what I've spoken about before on the channel, the crab mentality. The family bond is very strong here. Extended families are huge, but at the same time, if you cross a family, the whole family is going to be against you. And also there's the crab mentality. Like if somebody in a family starts dating a Westerner and he has, not a lot of money, but more money than everybody here, the other people in the family will try and bring them down. And this isn't universal to every family. Like my girlfriend's family is not like this, but they'll try and bring them down. It's called the crab mentality, like a crab crawling out of a pot where the other crabs try and pull it back down into the pot because of jealousy. Jealousy is a big thing in the Philippines that really is definitely a cultural difference. Another cultural difference is like tampo. If you haven't heard of that, tampo is like when you get into a fight. I've only heard it used between man and woman, but the woman, and it's generally used by the woman, if she gets mad at you, she'll go into what they call tampo, which is where she just won't talk to you for half a day. She doesn't, not like a Western woman where she'll yell and scream at you and fight with you. She just won't talk to you. And as a Western man, it's kind of hard to get used to because you're used to Western women telling you exactly how they feel, what you did wrong. They won't even tell you what they did wrong. You could ask them a million times, they'll just ignore you and go about their business and maybe not talk to you for the rest of the day or act like everything's fine. And they'll just kind of let it go. They'll never like hash out what it was that bothered them. So that's a big cultural difference, is tempo between couples. Also, like being confrontational. If somebody pisses you off in the street, if you're loud and confrontational to them, that's a big offense. And I'm not that type of person, so I haven't really had this issue, but I've heard it happen to other people. They'll come back at you and literally or figuratively stab you in the back when you're not looking. It's that big of a deal to like embarrass somebody in front of the community. So that's a big cultural difference. In the US, people embarrass each other all the time. They'll yell at each other in public. It's not that big of a deal there. But here, that's a very big deal. So if you come into the Philippines, watch out for that and just be conscious not to be that person. And if you have a short temper, don't even come to the Philippines, because your temper will be going off all the time if you don't like waiting in queues, or just waiting for stuff in general. Anything governmental that you have to get done is going to be slow and take forever. So if you have a short temper with that kind of stuff, the Philippines probably isn't for you. Go to Thailand or something. Okay, the next subject I want to tackle is financial worries and practicalities about being here. Managing your expenses and adjusting to the cost of living. A lot of guys come to the Philippines and all of a sudden, they're on like vacation mentality. Everything's cheap. In your head, it's pesos, so for some reason it sounds even cheaper. I do this myself. If you don't convert the money quickly in your head, you'll end up spending more money than you think you're spending, if that makes sense. So, like I said, a lot of guys will come here and they'll be on the vacation mentality. They'll be, yeah, everything's so cheap. They'll start, throwing around a lot of money, and before they know it, they're broke. So you have to really learn how to manage your money here, especially if you're on a fixed income. If you come here and you're still earning a paycheck in the U.S., or you're a digital nomad and you're still making Western money, then yeah, you could spend a little more money. But if you come here and you're living on Social Security, American Social Security, for most of what you're going to get, what most seniors are going to get here, is still going to be a good life here on that amount of money. But you're going to, on Social Security, 1,500, 2,000 a month, you're going to have to watch what you spend. You're not going to be able to go nuts. That being said, on 1,500, 2,000 a month, you could definitely, live a good life here and travel and do basically whatever you want entertainment wise, and eat American food if you want. And you want to set up your banking here so your money is cheap and easy to get. Like, I have a bank here in my girlfriend's name, a bank account, because if you're not, you can get a bank account here, but I just did it this way because it's the easiest way to do it now, and I 100% trust her. And obviously, not all my money's there, but for a little amount through Remitly, I could transfer money into the bank account and take it out if I go to the bank branch itself for nothing, and it's very cheap to get the money. So you want to set something like that up, and you can just do straight through Remitly. Go to the Cebuano, take out $500 at a time, $1,000. You transfer it to yourself, and it costs about $2.99. So you don't want to send yourself $50 all the time. I mean, it's not that much, $2.99, but it adds up. So if I do it that way, I'll send myself $500, $1,000, and you get the $2.99 charge, but it's not that big a deal when that kind of money is going to last you a few weeks at least here, maybe more, depending how you spend your money. As far as healthcare goes here, if you want Western style healthcare, I just had a thing with this with my girlfriend. You need to go to a private hospital. If you go to a public hospital, there's queues, there's long lines. I mean, there's horror stories of people dying, waiting online at the public hospitals here. So you have to make sure you have enough money in the bank to where when you go to the private hospital, you can just pay outright. And there are insurance companies that will insure you here, but probably the best thing to do is to get a catastrophic plan if you get hospitalized, and pay for everything else out of pocket. If you want Western style healthcare, you're going to need to go to a private hospital. Just forget about the public hospitals. As far as employment goes in the Philippines, if you're a Westerner, you can pretty much forget about it. If you want to earn money here, you either have to go remote, teach online, or start a business. There is a way where you can incorporate. I think it costs about 10 grand. You could start a business. I think then actually you can own property as well, or own your business anyway. And I haven't looked into it too much, but I'm gonna more in the future, because I probably will start a business here. Not really out of necessity yet, but I just want, if I move here full time, I'm going to want something to do. I don't want to just, hang around and do nothing. So there is a way to do that, but you can forget about work. If you're going to work as a farmer or a driver, you're going to work for 500 pesos a day, which is like $10 a day. And I know no Westerners want to live on $10 a day, or work the way they work here for $10 a day. So plus, it's looked down upon taking jobs from Filipinos and stuff. So you'll just get a bad reputation. So don't even bother with that. Just before you move here, either have your Social Security, figure out an online job. I would say if you're going to work online, start the job of, months, 6 months, a year before you even move here. Get established, make sure it's okay with your employer to move here, and then do it that way. Next subject I want to talk about is personal growth and self-discovery. This is kind of more of an abstract subject, but if you come here, don't be a closed-minded, old curmudgeon American or European. Be open to new things. Live your inner child, return to your childhood. Go diving with sharks. Do all kinds of fun things. I mean, you are moving to a new country. You're doing a new thing. You might as well enjoy it, embrace it, embrace your inner child. And again, be flexible, enjoy new experiences, be flexible with everything. Because if you're the type of person that's not flexible, you are not going to like the Philippines. Try new foods, ride a tricycle for the first time, ride in a jeepney, learn how to ride a motorcycle or a scooter. Everybody calls them motorcycles here, but they're basically little scooters. It's super fun. I love going out and riding to the gym. It's like a 20-minute ride on my scooter. Sometimes I drive way too fast, but I know the road, and it's the wind in your hair, that kind of thing. Embrace your inner child, be young again, and enjoy the experience when you come here. That's what you're coming here for, right? I mean, you're coming here for the inexpensive cost of living, the beautiful women and all that, but you're also coming here to enjoy a new lifestyle. And last but not least, overcome your fears and embrace the adventure. If you come to the Philippines, you're going to see things you've never seen before. You're going to eat things you've never eaten before. You're going to go to places you've never imagined existed. Just enjoy it. Like I said, don't be a curmudgeon. Be your best self and enjoy the experience. If it turns out it doesn't work out, make sure you have a safety valve to go back to wherever you came from, Europe, Australia, the US, China, wherever. You can always go back and live your old life again. When you come here, embrace the adventure. Okay, guys, I'll see you next time. Like, share, subscribe, buy me a coffee if you like my stuff and you want to help out my channel. See you next time.